Hello, fellow and future gamers. This is X with Bubbles Gaming, and this video will be featuring Dungeon Defenders. This video will be a very basic introduction to the game of Dungeon Defenders. So basic I don't plan on getting into any combat or playing any maps. I'm going to be focusing on people that maybe haven't picked it up yet or just picked it up, a little bit lost, or people that just enjoy Let's Plays as much as I do. So my focus is for today, I'm going to talk about the rest of this playthrough and my plans, talk about what Dungeon Defenders is, whether to play online or play local, and then finally we'll get into the game. We'll go through some character generation, look around the tavern for a little bit, get our first level up, and then do a super sweet level 1 tower showcase. So without further ado, my plans for this playthrough is I'm going to get through this introduction, and then I'm going to do a playthrough on all of the vanilla stages, so the deeper well through the summit, on all difficulties, with a team of the 4 base classes, so the Squire, the Apprentice, the Monk, and the Huntress. We're trying to showcase each of their strengths and weaknesses as much as possible. Later on, when I'm through with this initial playthrough, I may make some offshoot videos featuring the other 8 classes that are available through DLCs and some of the more difficult stages with some more of the options, playing survival or mixed mode, those types of things. So what is Dungeon Defenders? Dungeon Defenders is a tower defense RPG. So you will create a character. You will go into the map, and during your build phase, you will build towers. And those towers will defend your crystal from the hordes of monsters coming after you. The RPG portion comes in is that your character will gain experience and earn money while you kill all these monsters, and you will gain levels, and your towers and yourself will get stronger, faster, hit harder, and be able to take more damage. So with that, when you start up Dungeon Defenders, you'll get to this initial screen. Just click through. So first off, between playing online and playing local is what I am going to do for this playthrough. My internet can be a little sketchy at times, so this will remove any possible distractions from losing internet. Playing online introduces a whole new social aspect of the game. It is the only way that you can really earn the achievements that go along with the trophies that you will earn in either of the modes. So really, if you have any interest at any time to play online, to be able to join other people's games or have other people join your games, I would recommend playing online. In later videos, I'll get through playing online and I'll be able to play some of my higher level characters that I play with on a daily basis. So you'll choose your play style, close out your sweet information that you get, and then you'll come to this screen. This is the first time that you have made it this far in the game. You will immediately be prompted to go with your Create Hero screen. Like I said, I will be using the Apprentice, the Squire, the Huntress, and the Monk for the purposes of this playthrough. So pick your class, click Next. You can change his outfit, you can change his color, neither of which have any impact on the game. You can change his name, pick a random one, once again, no impact on gameplay. This will create your character. If this is the first time playing through, you will also be prompted with the ability to edit your Eternia crystal, so you can change the color, change the shape if you wish. Once again, no impact on actual gameplay. So like I said, I will be playing through with the Squire, the Huntress, the Monk, and the Apprentice. So I'll choose the Squire to start with, and we'll go into our tavern. So the game is set up to allow you to immediately get into some of your gameplay, so I'm going to escape out of this so we can walk and talk through the tavern for a little bit. One of the first things you may notice as you're walking around, whether it's your own or walking through somebody else's, you'll get these little trophies. Those will pop up when you complete different aspects of the game. So your tavern will self-decorate. The 3 main things in the tavern that we will use are the Tavern Keep, the Eternia Crystal, and the Defender's Forge off there tucked away in the corner. The Forge and the Tavern Keep both perform very similar functions. The Tavern Keep, however, will allow you to buy and sell gear where the Forge won't. The Eternia Crystal is where we will get to in my next video, and that's where you'll actually select a stage and play through. You'll be able to pick your different difficulties and the different options that you want to play on those stages. So we have our Squire here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the Tavern Keep, and we'll talk through him a little bit. First thing you're prompted with is his item shop. I highly discourage purchasing items from the tavern shop. He gouges you on prices, and you will get more than enough drops by playing that you really don't need to buy anything. The only things I would be tempted to purchase are initial low-level pets if you have the money for it. But you can see what he has for sale. Really not worth it. He also offers services, which I need a lot more mana in order to use, so you can get an experience bonus. You can respec your hero, which we'll talk about later. You can rename your hero or generate a mana token. This will come in later. The maximum amount of mana that you can carry at any point in time is 600 million. So if you think you're going to go over that, you can generate a mana token so that you don't lose mana during the stage. As you can see over here, we can check out our hero info. We also have a level up available. So this will prompt us to put a point into an area that we want. So each of your heroes will have very similar stats that they can work with. The top left being their hit points, so how much damage they can take before they die. Your mana that you can hold at any point in time. This top row of stats is your hero's ability, so how much damage you can take, how much damage you do, how fast you are, and how quickly you can cast or create the towers. Middle row will come into later levels when we actually gain access to these abilities. This third row is your defenses, so how much health they have, how much damage they do, how far they can shoot, and also how quickly they can shoot. The bottom row are your resistances, so these will play into how much damage you can take. If you have a physical resistance and it's doing physical damage, it will reduce the incoming damage by that amount. So for my 4 builds, I'm going to go with a hybrid build. So I'm going to put an even number of points into both my defense stats and my hero stats. It'll allow them to be really relevant if I need them for some last-minute damage to help take down an ogre, and they'll be able to build some pretty potent towers. Some people like to specialize. I prefer to be a jack of all trades. I do recognize, however, that especially soloing, your towers are going to do the majority of the work. So I'm going to focus on my tower stats first, and then move into the hero stats. So I'll go ahead and put a stat, or 1 point, into my defense attack rate, and congratulations, your Squire is now a level 1. So before I swap heroes, I'm going to go through and kind of do these at the same time. So I'll give you I'll let you see what the Squire actually does when he is in play. So center click, you can summon your defenses. You can see we have the ability later on to cast several other defenses, but right now all we can do is cast a Spike Blockade. So the Spike Blockade is very nice as a starting blockade. It has a lot of hit points, and those spikes on the front will do damage to any creatures that are within melee range of the actual Spike Blockade itself. It does not, however, extend its reach, so it's not really an attack tower. It's much more of a defensive tower. So we'll go ahead and sell that. We'll go back to our Tavern Keep, and we will swap over to our next hero. So next up is the Huntress. She also has a level up available, so we will level her up in the same fashion. Close out, and I will show you the Huntress. I have somewhat of a difficult time with the Huntress, especially at lower levels. I don't utilize her to her fullest extent. I'm going to try to use her more than I normally would, but no promises. You'll see that with her, she has traps that she sets. So when you go to place this down, you'll see it has 2 circles. The outer circle is the actual range of the attack when the trap is triggered. The inside circle is the trigger, so an enemy has to walk inside of that trigger circle, and then it will explode, damaging all enemies inside of the range. You'll see that my biggest issue with the Huntress at low levels is the low number of times that this trap can be triggered. So if 2 enemies walk into this trap during a stage, it will disappear, and you will have to re-summon this trap. So we'll sell that and swap to our next hero.
Greetings.
Next up is the Monk. I have to say that the Monk is probably my favorite character. I did not use him that much during my leveling process, but now later in levels he is amazing. So we'll level him up once again in the same fashion, and then we'll go show off his auras. So the Monk is special in the fact that he has a melee attack, and he also has a ranged attack. So that's very valuable in a lot of positions. So the Monk's auras are here. When he places them, they have a certain number of hit points. Enemies that are within the aura are affected by the aura and slowly take away from the hit points. This one is an ensnare aura, so all enemies that walk within this will be slowed to 70% of their normal movement speed. Very, very valuable. If you place this in front of an attack tower, it will allow your towers to have that much more time to attack the enemy before they can attack your towers. Now, last but certainly not least is the Apprentice. The Apprentice is very attack tower heavy. Go ahead and level him up. And you will see that his first available tower is the Magic Missile Tower. It does a magical damage that is non-elemental, so it hurts everything, which is very valuable. And it has a decent range, and it will shoot about once every second and hit right now for 24 DPS. So you'll see that later on he will get different attack towers that can really do a lot of damage, especially at higher levels. So go ahead and sell this, go back to our crystal, just to kind of stand up here and look around. So once again, this was an introduction to Dungeon Defenders. A couple of things that we talked about were my plans for this playthrough, what Dungeon Defenders is, whether to play online, play local, did some character creation, leveled up our first characters, walked through the tavern to see what was going on, and got to see some of those level 1 towers. In my next video, we'll actually be going through the Deeper Well. I will be doing that on easy and showing you how I would build that stage with 4 level 1 characters. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it, and feel free to subscribe.